all three of them from the south of the Vindhyas, who will talk about what's happening in the Deccan Plateau and the Deccan region. So, Smita Prakash, Shekhar Iyer and Sumant Raman, good morning. Thank you for staying on, Smita. How would you see Maharashtra pan out? Perhaps the most volatile of elections ever. It's never been the same. There's always been this, local regional chatraps versus national parties. But there were 3 or 4 parties then. Now it is 8, 9 parties who are part of these combines.
Correct. Majorly 6-cornered contest, but yes, there are other factors also. It's extremely difficult to predict, like you and Zaka have been saying, because it's because of the 6-cornered, but it's also a do or die for many of them. Like for NCP, SCP, it's an identity crisis. It's also a do or die for Sena UBT, the identity crisis there too. And if there's a clear verdict in favor of the NDA alliance, then it means a decimation of these two parties, because you'll see a massive flux as far as the lower rungs are concerned, which has already happened, but then it will happen more. I mean, Sharad Pawar's legacy issues will also be laid to rest after this election, with a nephew Ajit or daughter Supriya, who's the inheritor, and the Sena legacy will be also settled probably once and for all. Low voter turnout in Baramati, which you are talking about, it could also be, I think, a kind of disgust among voters who have this Hobson's choice before them. Will the Modi factor help? I don't know. But some old timers, I spoke to, I have relatives in Maharashtra. They don't like the idea of encouraging splintering of joint families, because they live in joint families. They don't like the idea that though they find Ajit Pawar as the real inheritor, but they don't like the idea that to support Ajit Pawar, because they say फिर हम अपने families में कैसे बोलेंगे कि rebel is the inheritor, so they don't like this idea. It's a wrong parallel, because politics should be separated from family issues. There should be 2 separate silos. But then in India, everything becomes spiritual, familial, politics. Everything gets mixed up into one cauldron.
The 2 people who are actually playing that emotional card are Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray. Thackeray is going and saying, it's about Bala Sahib's legacy. You have to vote for us because, I'm the inheritor of his legacy. And Sharad Pawar is saying the same thing, that my daughter is the inheritor of my legacy, not my nephew. The other 2 protagonists on the other side, Mr. Eknath Shinde and Mr. Ajit Pawar, are not using the emotional card as much, or maybe it's not having as much resonance when they play it, but certainly the 2 people who are playing the emotional card are Sharad Pawar and Uddhav Thackeray. And again, I go back to one of the points, I think Nistula made this in the last hour. The moment of reckoning, at least as far as Maharashtra is concerned, and all these changing alliances, look, it was not even 4 versus 6, right? Even though there were 4 parties. In all elections in the past, the choice was very clear before the voter. You had the Bhagwa alliance, you had the Shiv Sena and the BJP, which is a 25-year-old alliance, and you had the Congressy alliance. Of course, there was Congress and there was Rashtravadi Congress. So it was a very clear choice A or choice B. Right now, it's 6-cornered, as Smita said, and within that 6 itself, 2 of those parties were not even there in the last election. They are new to this entire exercise. They have the advantage that they have the official symbol. NCP Ajit Pawar is the clock, and of course Mr. Shinde Sena has the bow and arrow. Whereas the other people who are fighting for the legacy don't have the symbol. And even today, in many, many parts of rural Maharashtra, the symbol plays a huge role in who the voter votes for. But I think let's bring in Shekhar Iyer as well as Sumant Raman into
symbol,
it.
How much of it impacts? Because Eknath Shinde has gone ahead and said, Dhanush Baan kiske paas hai?
Exactly.
Bala Sahib ने धनुष बाण चुना और धनुष बाण किसके पास है? हिंदुत्व बाला साहब थे, हिंदुत्व के साथ कौन खड़ा है, राम मंदिर के साथ कौन खड़ा है, कौन नहीं खड़ा है. These are things which are being said on ground. How much of it does it have an impact, Shekhar Iyer?
Well, right now I am here in Pune. And I have been talking to people here, and what I get to understand is it's not just about chemistry. There are strong feelings of loyalty being framed. There are elders, particularly those who are 60 plus, they feel tremendously loyal to Sharad Pawar. And they feel that whatever has happened, Ajit Pawar should not have done. But then there are others who are below 60 or even below 50, who have seen that Ajit Pawar was the more active leader on the field. And his He would get up early in the morning, sit and meet people, day after day, election or no election. They are the people who have had lot of interaction with Ajit Pawar. Some of them have got their work done. They are the people who feel that yes, they respect Sharad Pawar, but they see Ajit Pawar as the person who is the person who can get things done, and he was seen as a very effective leader. So today in Baramati, there is a divided loyalties, though the chemistry may remain same. So that is where I see age, gap. Of course, even Supriya Sule's election management was largely handled by Ajit Pawar.
Ajit Pawar.
So it was Ajit Pawar used to handle it because his assembly constituency was part of the Lok Sabha constituency. So here is a very, very difficult situation. We have had family fights before. We have seen in the DMK also. But here it is very unique. Actually, on the field, they are not saying much against each other also. Sharad Pawar hasn't spoken much against Ajit Pawar, or Ajit Pawar hasn't said anything personal rather. And Supriya Sule also keeps on saying he is my brother. And they all keep assuring the voters also, look, after this we are going to be together again. Now, if this is the kind of mood, what do the voters do? I mean, they are going to be
They're
together
trying to
again
say,
as
a family, we stay separate together, but our politics, our roots are separate. Ajit Pawar has been very clear. He's been insisting on Sharad Pawar, saying that I will take care of Supriya, but you designate me as your heir. And that is something that Mr. Sharad Pawar had deterred. And that's why it's not the first time that Ajit Pawar has talked about breaking away. Like you said, there's this generation gap and who's working on ground and who's not. This is a strong sentiment, like it is within the Shiv Sena. Uddhav Thackeray, a lot of people are upset with him because he went against the entire Thackeray vein, Bala Sahib's vein itself. He totally diffused and went the opposite of Hindutva when he said that I will go and sign up with the NCP and the Congress party. But Shekhar, Sumant Raman, a quick word from you. How much of the electoral symbol will work? And who are the ground up politicians? Eknath Shinde, former auto driver, did all the hard work, legwork, and he's got the bulk of the chunk in terms of the seat share within the NDA after the BJP.
Yeah. Anand, I think one of the stories of this election is going to be Maharashtra. And I firmly believe that the MBA is going to win a very sizable number of seats. There are two reasons for this. One is, typically when you have a breakaway faction, irrespective of which political party, there is the issue of vote transfer, which is sort of whether it happens or not. And of course, that issue remains on both sides. But here the key issue are those 19 seats, the 15 seats of the Shinde group and the 4 seats of the Ajit Pawar group. Now, is the vote transfer from the BJP going to happen in those seats? What is their vote share that they command is as much pretty much an unknown factor. So even if you say that Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar together are able to take away 50% to 60% of their respective Sena/NCP votes, then it's going to be an extremely difficult task for the BJP to make a. The BJP may do well, mind you. I'm not arguing against the BJP getting routed in Maharashtra. The BJP may do well, but they're not contesting enough number of seats on their own to have a
but
sweep.
Dr. Raman,
Like
just one small
Yeah.
point there. These 19 seats or 20 seats that Shinde Sena and Mr. Ajit Pawar's NCP are fighting, there are BJP voters also in those constituencies. There are people who will vote for Modi in those
I agree.
constituencies. So there is a BJP vote transfer that will happen in those constituencies as well. So, which is why I keep going back to that point. The Modi factor may actually pull through in this election because it's voting for the parliament, it's voting for the nation, it's voting for the prime minister. It may not pull through in the assembly election, but this election, the Modi vote, there is about 8 or 9% vote that could paper over, which you rightly said, the weaknesses in the Ajit Pawar faction and in the Shinde faction of the same.
Will a BJP voter be happy to vote for Ajit Pawar? Now that is a question that we as yet don't know. That's the point I'm trying to make. Or